if he breaks his own world record. But he ran 13 flat last year. That was 12 seconds under the old record. As we look at this race course, which produces fast times, but is not that fast a course. You designed it, Steve. Take us through.
Well, when I designed it, I had two things in mind. One was the value for TV. Look at how it runs so much along the Pacific Ocean, which is gorgeous for television. Secondly, it's a spectator-friendly course. You go by the same point at 3 different occasions, making a tremendous inspiration for the athletes when they run by the spectators, and also a downhill finish, which I personally liked.
Well, you won it 3 times and set a couple of world records in the process, but now your times wouldn't get you near the victory stand, but that's the nature of the sport. Here's the 1 mile mark, and Sammy is being cheered on by the crowd. 3:59 once again, exactly the same time as last year. And before that, when people ran 4:02 or 4:03 in the first miles, they would die at the end. We were so surprised that they didn't die last year, so we don't think he'll die again this year, but it's so hard to beat 13 flat. It's too good a mark. Now the women coming up onto Carlsbad Boulevard, and unlike the men, they are still densely packed with Sylvia Mosqueda, the 34-year-old who has the best history on this course of any of these competitors, in the front, and that's been her MO throughout her entire career.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that's a clear-cut favorite entering into this race, and we should have a very good competitive effort with really coming down to, you'd think, the very end.
Mirma Hashim, she's number 17, one of the young Ethiopians. She's just 20 years old. She's right on the shoulder in second place. Behind her, Ejigayo Dibaba, who is the cousin of the Olympic champion at 10,000 meters, Durartu Tulu. A lot of talent in that field, but they're starting to stretch it a little bit as well. Sally Barsosio on the far outside, blocked off a little bit in the yellow of Puma. She is our 97 champion, and she's joined that lead pack of 4. Now the men at the first turnaround. And again, there's 2 180-degree turns on this course, and that loses speed for you.
You know, this course is actually about, I'd say 15, 20, maybe even 25 seconds slower than a track 5K, which kind of puts it in perspective.
Well, here's a look at the top American places over the years at Carlsbad, and started off strong and fell apart a little bit. The top Kenyan finishers. And look at that. They've been consistent at the top throughout the history of this event, whereas in many road races, you would see the Kenyans only start to emerge in the early 1990s. They've loved this 5,000-meter distance throughout the entire 15 years of Carlsbad history.
Well, you're opening up a can of words there, because we could go in and talk about the decline of American distance running in this country that has happened over the last 10 years.
But we're not going to.
Right.
Med Keflezighi is right in that second chase pack, although we're looking at the women's race right now. Mosqueda. There's Sally Barsosio wearing number 9, and she flails around a lot in the upper body, but is very smooth and efficient lower half of the body. So it's deceptive with her when you watch her run.
Yeah, as a coach, it's not textbook running style, but she gets the job done.
Jerusalem Kuma, the third of the Ethiopian women, is also right in there. And here's a look at the top American finishers on the women's side at Carlsbad. And again, we've won it a number of times, and we've been consistent throughout, but the Kenyans have not fared nearly as well here in Carlsbad on the women's side. That's a product of a lot of different things, but one of it is that the American women are just better in the world standard versus the American men.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, now, there's number 15. That is Ejigayo Dibaba, the very young but talented Ethiopian woman who was second in Seville, Spain this year at a big world cross-country lead-up event. And she was 4th in the Ethiopian Nationals at 10,000 meters last year, looking very composed in the lead. So we have a tactical women's competition and a world record attempt going for the men. Back to Carlsbad after this. 5,000, the world's fastest 5,000, and it looks like we're in line for that again in 2001. Now our leader, Sammy Kipketer, enters the second most rapturous stage of this 3.1-mile course, right back through those throngs of people who ran this race earlier today.
And this is exactly when he needs it. Just past the 2-mile mark. This is the toughest part of the race. This is when you need that jolt of adrenaline to get you through that last mile.
Leonard Machuru looking very good in second place, again having a great indoor season behind his belt. And that's his Luke Kipkoski in third place, and Abraham Chevy, who's the Azalea Trail champion at 10K from Mobile, Alabama last weekend, back in third and fourth place. And they're more having a race with themselves and trying to catch Leonard Machuru. I mean, the race is over for first place. Sammy Kipketer's got it. The question is, how fast will he go?
What Sammy did in that first mile was just rip the heart out of the whole competition.
Now it's time for this month's New Balance in Action. Brought to you by New Balance Performance Athletic Shoes. Achieve New Balance. Races throughout the day leading to the elite racers at noon. The first race of the day, the National Masters Championship. And Steve, you've won this a number of times. You're in the field again, but why don't we see you? There's Simon Karori from Kenya. Eddie Hellebeck, the new American, in second place. Where's Steve Scott?
Well, you know what? The sport of Masters running has evolved.
There you are. There you are.
I'm in seventh place, but the whole running has evolved. Now you have professional Masters athletes. Karori doesn't work, trains full-time. Eddie Hellebeck, same thing. Third place, Graham Felt works part-time, but they give all their energy and efforts to training, and great for them. You know, there's enough money there to support them. I say, well done.
Simon Karori, he's also in the elite competition at noon. Well, he's known as a crazy man, but he runs crazy fast. That's New Balance in Action, the Masters competition. Sammy Kipketer, what's his form tell you, Steve? Is he breaking down a little?
Well, he went by the first mile in 3:59. Went through 2 miles in 8:13, which is still 1 second faster than world record pace. He's definitely decelerating this mile, but he's still on the record pace.
No one to push him, though. Unlike in the women's competition, which is stringing out a little bit, but we still have an open competition going. With now our 97 champion, Sally Barsosio, going to the front. Ejigayo Dibaba from Ethiopia, followed by Jerusalem Kuma. And that seems to be the final threesome for the women.
Now, Barsosio beat Kuma at the World Cross Country Championships, but Kuma beat Barsosio last year here in Carlsbad, so the psychological edge would have to be to Kuma.
Well, the legacy of Ethiopian running goes back even farther than the Kenyans. And this February, we took our cameras to Addis Ababa for the Ethiopian National Cross Country Championships, which, like ours in the U.S., doubled as their world trials. The field in Jan Meda is both a running and horse track, with polo matches, believe it or not, also set up on weekends as well. Here, all the national teams and all the Olympians gather for what is as competitive an environment as the World Championships themselves. It's like trying to earn a spot on the U.S. sprint team. Make the Ethiopian World Cross Country team, and you all but guarantee yourself a team medal at the Worlds. All 3 of our Ethiopian women competitors at the Carlsbad 5000 performed at Jan Meda, where 1960 and 64 Olympic marathon champion Abiba Bikila did his training as well. And now, since the overthrow of the communist regime in 1991, there has been a running resurgence in Ethiopia, led by the superstar of superstars, Haile Gebrselassie, the 2-time Olympic champion at 10,000 meters, the world record holder at 5 and 10K. Last year in Sydney, 4 gold medals were won by the Ethiopian Distance Corps. What a spur that will be to the next generation. But it looks like Ejigayo Dibaba is starting to leak off in 3rd place as Sally Barsosio is beginning to really push this pace because she knows the Ethiopians have better kicks than the Kenyans traditionally.
And Kuma is just sitting right on her heels, marking every move. So Sally's got to be able to get away from Kuma. Otherwise, she's going to use that blistering kick that she has.
Well, last weekend, she was 23rd in the long course World Cross Countries. Sally was 18th. But at the world level, that's essentially the same position. This is a new week. And Sally's pushing it. We'll see if she can get away. They both raced here last year as well, so there's no experience factor that gives one the advantage over the other. It's all given day at this point. Who feels better now? I'll tell you who's not feeling great. That's Leonard Michuru. That poor guy went out hard, and he's paying the penalty for it now.
But the thing is, even though he's paying the price for that early, fast first mile, he's not decelerating that quickly. It's just the guys who ran the more evenly paced race are just feeling much better at this point.
Well, in second place now, number 38, Luke Kipketer, a very fast 3,000-meter man. And then Abraham Chabi, one of our favorites in the race, is now moving up as well. But it's always been about Sammy Kipketer last year and this as well. Again, he was 1 second lower than he was last year, passing 2 miles. But can he hold it together for the final stretch? We'll see after this. That's this month's Dr. Scholl's Footnotes, brought to you by Dr. Scholl's. Treat yourself right. Well, no one is pacing Sammy Kipketer, and he knows full well how to break the tape. It's all about when will he do it. 13 flat is the time he has to better, and he's been on pace all race long. The crowd is pumping him up, and it's down to the final furlong.
This is where the crowd is pumping every little bit of adrenaline that Sammy Kipketer has, pushing him toward that finish line, hoping that he breaks that world record once again.
$10,000 on the line for the record, but it's more about pride with Sammy than it is about the dough, and he's got that look of determination. This is the race for second. We'll get back to that later on. Let's get back up to the front to Sammy. These guys are over 20 seconds back. He's destroyed this field. Kipketer, I mean, look at him. He's got that clock in his sights. It's so hard. He's tying up, but he's pushing with everything he's got. He actually looks great as he approaches the line. It's almost exactly the same time as last year. And he hits the line. 12:59.58 reads the clock.
Oh, my gosh.
Anything over 12:59.00, even 1/100th of a second in road racing, gets ratcheted up to the next time, full second. This is Luke Kipketer in second place, and look at this, 13 minutes, 21 seconds. Chabib in third, and on it goes.
What a difference a year makes. 13 minutes, and people are disappointed because he didn't get the world record, yet it's still just a tremendous time.
Boy, look at that form, look at that back kick. Boy, this is one elegant young 19-year-old Kenyan superstar.
Absolutely incredible for him to come back 2 years in a row, run literally the exact same time.
Leonard Michuru only faded back to fifth. A heck of a performance for Leonard Michuru, who went out with Sammy Kipketer.
There's number 20, Carlsbad from Mexico. Number 28, Matthew Beard from Kenya. Olympic gold medalist in 1990.
Well, that old mark of 13 minutes, 12 seconds lasted 7 years. Now Sammy's tied his own mark. This baby could stand for a while. Choose New Balance. By Dr. Scholl's. Treat yourself right. And by Gold K. Better retirement plans through technology. You take the win when you can get it. Now there's the final turn in our women's competition. We're down to two. It's the Kenyan Sally Barsosio, our 97 Carlsbad champion, opening up a bit now on Jerusalem Kuma from Ethiopia, and this could be the winning move. It's so subtle, and Sally is very well aware of this small gap. And what do you read on Jerusalem's face?
You know, I always thought that this was the key part of the race. After that second U-turn, which causes you to slow down a couple of seconds, destroys your rhythm. It's always hard at that point to get back on and put the pedal back down. And it seems like Sally is continuing to put the pressure on, throwing in these little surges.
Well, here we go back to 1997 when she won the Carlsbad 5000 for the first time and beat Libby Johnson, now Hickman, by 10 seconds in the process. So it was a dominating performance in the best year of her career back in 97, and she's sort of getting herself into that top form once again, and a win here at Carlsbad, and it looks like the winning edge has been met with 200 meters to go. 15:05 is the world record, but the women are well off that time, which makes Sammy Kipketer's performance even more stunning. You can see by her form why Sally wanted to have a lead going downhill. She's flailing around a bit.
And at age 34, Sylvia Mosqueda has to be having the year of her career. Coming in third place here, and it has to be a personal best here on this course.
Well, in 1989, she was third. In 1999, she was fifth. Something about this course and Sylvia go together really well. But now, for the second time in 5 years, Sally Barsosio hits the tape, the champion at Carlsbad. Her time, 15 minutes, 20 seconds, just 2 seconds slower than a 97 win.
And there's number 15.
Jerusalem Kuma in second. Sylvia Mosqueda in third. Fourth place, Echigayo Dibaba. Then Brita Dennehy-Willis out of Ireland in fifth. And Mirama Hashim, the Ethiopian, right behind her.
When you look at the two races today, you have to look at what the sense of purpose was. I think with the women, it was get a victory. But with the men and Sammy Kipketer, it was get that record. And he ran like it, came very close to it, and it was evident in the way that both sexes ran today.
What was the fourth Kenyan women's champion here at Carlsbad. We still have not had an Ethiopian woman capture this prestigious title. Races from 7 a.m. till noon. Champions throughout the day, leading to a world record tying victory by Sammy Kipketer in the Invitational 5000. For Steve Scott, I'm Tony Revis. Thanks for joining us in Carlsbad. We'll see you next time out on the road. This has been a presentation of ESPN.